Handsome Hockey Podcast. 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 Handsome Hockey Podcast.
Handsome Hockey Podcast.
All right. Thank you for listening. This has been the Handsome Hockey Podcast. Signing off.
That was episode 59.
Yeah, that's our best one yet. Welcome, everybody, to another episode. That's right. We're back again. Episode 59 of the Handsome Hockey Podcast here in beautiful Portland, Oregon. My name is Jake, and across from me is
Evan. Happy Trans Day of Visibility to everybody.
Yeah, we're not going to get this out until a day or two after it, but it is today.
Yeah, we're recording on said day, and for those that celebrate, it's a really important day. There are many trans athletes that are near and dear to our heart, and we hope that they're celebrating wherever they are.
It feels like we're kind of getting bogged down by days when you think about it, but days I can do without are like Talk Like a Pirate Day. Like we can say the cliche thing that, you know, every day should be Trans Visibility Day, but the fact that there is a day and that we can talk about it on our hockey podcast is cool. Like that's it, and shed more light on the day and on, you know, the difficulties that trans folks deal with on an everyday basis. I was arguing with somebody in the comment section on The Athletic on a Tottenham Hotspur article, and Spurs have a player who routinely likes homophobic and transphobic things on the internet. Wow,
an athlete liking questionable media. Who would have thought?
You don't say. A Brazilian. No way. Ooh. He also openly stumped for their like near fascist president who just got elected.
Might actually be worse than Trump. He's definitely worse than Trump.
Oh, he real bad. I think he can just get away with more.
That's true.
So like I was arguing and they were like, well, his politics don't hurt anyone. I was like, no, he like openly supports homophobic and transphobic things. Like, do you not realize that every day queer and trans folks are murdered or subjected to cruelty and harm or self-harm because they have some of the highest suicide rates in the world?
Right.
And it's this sort of shit that promotes those thoughts that allow people and give people the courage effectively to continue this sort of hateful behavior. I was like, this is hate. And they're like, it's just his beliefs. I was like, no, yeah, fine. Yeah, they're his beliefs, but his beliefs are full of hatred.
Right.
And cause harm. And if your beliefs cause harm, they're bad beliefs.
Yeah, there is like a small, vein of people that kind of think that, oh, just because you believe it, that means it's okay. Like, oh, they believe that. It's okay. And it's like, no, that doesn't just give you a pass just because it's really, in your heart. Like beliefs are just ideas that are super strong. I reference the Chris Rock character from Dogma, but like, it's better to have thoughts than beliefs because you can change thoughts. And I don't know that people hide behind the idea of beliefs to do all sorts of unethical things is kind of laughable to me.
Yeah. So the point here being, it's really important for us to have days like this to really shine a light on a wonderful community for all of the positives that emanate from that community, but also to shine a light on the violence and the harshness that many of these folks are subjected to. Not just in like countries where you're like, oh yeah, they're really awful, but right fucking here in the United States as well.
And I look forward to the day when, maybe today is celebrated kind of far and wide the way that gay pride is.
For all trans listeners, we're here for you. We support you. This day is for you, but us and hopefully people around you are here for you every day. Speaking of people who need to be more visible, we have also seen one hockey player who is under an NHL contract come out as homosexual Luke Prokop. He's in the Nashville Predators organization. And he is getting some custom kicks. And by kicks, we mean kicks with blades on them.
Some nice new Bauer skates.
Yeah.
These are absolute beauties. I suggest anybody go to Luke Prokop's Twitter and take a look at them. They're just really clean Bauers with like this nice rainbow streak, and it looks amazing.
They're really fucking sharp. Like I would wear one, or I guess two. Technically, you have to wear skates on both feet, right? And it'd be weird to wear one skate and then a different skate on the other foot. So I would wear two. I would wear them. I think them is probably the preferred term there. How does an English major talk this poorly? Yeah, they're super cool. Check out his social media. He's got them up there. They're awesome. They're really cool, and super exciting to see him getting this sort of swag out of having the courage to come out as a hockey player, which is a extremely conservative sport, and for him to have that courage is really awesome, and he should be rewarded by a lot more things, but getting a sweet pair of skates is definitely a good one.
One bit of hockey news that we want to wrap up from last week is the latest in the Evgenii Dadonov no trade saga. Turns out, didn't do anything wrong. His agent submitted his no trade clause as was required in his list, and he knew from the second that the news dropped that his no trade list was going to get honored and he wasn't going to Anaheim. And so luckily for Vegas, he's sticking around, and they did a good job of kind of making light of the scenario by saying welcome back when he scored in his first game back. So this seems like one of the things that'll probably heal over in time, perhaps. But yeah, they desperately need him. Vegas really on the ropes right now. Maybe not making the playoffs, which will be crazy if that happens.
Well, when you look at their injuries, it's not that crazy. But like if you look at what they were supposed to be at the beginning of the year, yeah, it's absolutely nuts that they are where they are in the standings.
Yeah, Robin Lehner was apparently healthy enough to back up tonight. So maybe he's on the mend, but they're sitting out of a wild card spot right now. Nobody would expect that with how much money they are spending to put the team they have on the ice, and
well over the cap.
Yeah. And that this completely borked their, let's say, creative use of LTIR rules and the salary cap that we've seen the Lightning do before. This completely screwed them up. So kind of shows, hey, there is actually a risk to what Tampa did when they did the same thing and stashed guys in LTIR to bring back for the playoffs where there's no salary cap. Speaking of things that are no more, Eugene Melnyk passed away.
Yeah, the owner of the Senators passed away from what was declared a long battle with an illness.
Yeah, one can kind of make some assumptions therein, but who knows?
Yeah, I'd rather not.
Yeah.
It was diphtheria. Yeah.
He had just recently traveled to Oregon and got
via covered wagon.
Yeah, and
ownership of the team is going to go to his daughters, Anna and Olivia. I know a lot of Senators fans, when Eugene Melnyk passed away, were, obviously people are sad that somebody died.
At the age of 62, he was very young. This obviously came as somewhat of a surprise. They had kept his health kind of under wraps, but there were rumblings about, what his health status was. Yeah.
And so it's a big question now, like what will happen with the team under new stewardship? Mm-hmm. Do Anna and Olivia plan on spending more money, like their father was apparently kind of opposed to? Do they spend less money? Do they sell the team? Like what happens with the team,
Right, because, say what you will about Eugene Melnyk's management of the team and kind of relationship with the media, the people around him loved him. And a lot of people had some really good things to say about him. Pierre Dorian had some really touching things to say about him. And part of the reason that the Senators are even still in Ottawa is him. He bought them from bankruptcy in 2003. After 10 years back, they started back in Ottawa in 93.
Yeah, he's definitely an Ottawa hero in that sense, because they could be in Houston or whatever,
Right.
or not exist at all.
Yeah, they could be another Quebec. Like, that writing was kind of on the wall. There was a recipe for, moving that team to a juicier market, where say where you will. But yeah, it's a testament that he kept them there, and they were competitive like twice in that span.
Yeah,
and it's a challenging market, and he kept them there through the challenges, and I don't know how to end that.
well, hopefully with new leadership, we can the Senators turn a new page. And what that page is unwritten and could be anything,
Right.
But a lot of times you see when ownership changes or a team is handed off to an heir or whatever, there's a little bit of transition, there's a little bit of change,
Or all-out warfare in the case of, what is it, the Broncos?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, they're like, it's in like lawyers and judges' hands, because the siblings are all like fighting over the Broncos. I think.
Perfect. It could be like a Hatfields and the McCoys situation, but they're all doing it like on the field at Mile High Stadium instead of like in backwoodsy towns.
Yeah. I mean, that would be really interesting if, the ownership of an NFL franchise or NHL franchise like was handed out to the winner of a cage match of old people, or rich white people like hitting each other with chairs and ladders and stuff.
It's got to have the WWF announcers doing the announcing.
And maybe we bring in like the And One guys too. We get some, oh baby.
Well, you could stream it on multiple services. So yeah, get multiple commentators. That'd be great.
Speaking of the big shows, the PHF handed out an Isobel Cup this week.
No, it didn't.
It didn't?
No.
Are you just pretending that didn't happen?
What happened? What's the Isobel Cup? I don't know what you're talking about.
The
What's
Isobel Cup,
PHF?
the PHF, the Premier Hockey Federation, formerly known as the NWHL.
Yeah, it doesn't ring a bell.
The National Women's Hockey League.
Where am I?
Premier Women's Hockey League in America.
What do I do? Who am I?
No, I'm you. No, you are me.
So, sorry, I blacked out there. I've just been in mourning since Monday evening.
I don't know if you can't tell, but Jake's team didn't win.
It's not so much that my team didn't win, it's that my soul is dead.
Yes.
In the 2-ish years that I've been rooting for the Connecticut Whale, I have decided to go all in and love them tenderly and
love them madly, perhaps.
It's unhealthy at this point, I think. I think part of that is when I got on the bandwagon, they were terrible. Like they had just come off of an absolutely awful season, and in 2 years, Colton Orr and the ownership of that team has transformed them into a juggernaut.
You got to start somewhere.
Right. And so to see the regular season PHF champs fall to the back-to-back plus blank space where it's not handed out plus back champions. They're saying back-to-back champions, but really they're like the 3-time in a row champions.
I mean, I think if a trophy's not awarded, they just call that a wash. So yes, they're back-to-back champions.
Yeah. So the Boston Pride showed up when they needed to and steamrolled through the Isobel Cup playoffs, and then were awarded the Isobel Cup in they marauded through the playoffs. Katie Burt gave up 3 goals on 85 shots. They won 3 games in 4 days, shutting out the Buttes, beating the snot out of Toronto, and then Connecticut had them on the ropes for 2 periods. And then the 3rd period of the championship opened, and the Pride scored 2 goals in 17 seconds, and it was ball game. They scored another goal, empty net, but they choked the life out of it. Katie Burt said in her post game that she didn't think the Whale even had 1 shot on net in the 3rd period. They did, but it wasn't much more than that. It was a 3 minutes of offensive masterclass followed by 17 minutes of just total shutdown, like 1993 New Jersey Devils hockey. It was...
Yeah, that's insane that a team trying to come back from that deficit can only manage a couple of shots on net.
It was a stellar performance. I spent both of the Wales playoff games live tweeting, and I just started tweeting sad Schitt's Creek gifs at the for the last period of the championship game, because like the Whale just couldn't do anything. It felt like a fait accompli. It was just over. As soon as the Pride got that third goal, it just felt like it was done. One thing I do appreciate is that the Pride have fully accepted that they are the bad guy and that they are the everybody's hated enemy in the league now.
Yeah, I mean, really such a stretch for a Boston sports franchise to know how to do that. But
I'm doing the Kevin McAllister Home Alone like shocked face. It was even like it's clearly been encouraged as well.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, it's some pretty high quality trolling.
Yeah.
They posted pictures of them with the Isobel Cup on some threads of their competitors.
The Toronto Six posted, so I guess we're rooting for the Whale, and Soroya Tinker commented on that hashtag Buck Foston, and then Kaylee Fracken responded with a picture of her drinking Mick Ultras on the ice in Tampa, holding the Isobel Cup, and it was just like amazing trolling. Katie Burt said, "Rip to the rest of the PHF. Boston wins again," in her post-game interview.
That's what the league needs. Like, it needs to be kind of like a little bit of pro wrestling in there, and just we're gonna put it in your face, and we're gonna start some shit. I mean, good-hearted shit.
Yeah,
on the internet.
Everybody needs a foil, right? Everybody needs a heel, and Boston is just diving headlong into their heel turn, and I appreciate it. You know, I'm an unabashed Whale lover. Both the animal and the hockey team, it turns out. Don't kill whales. Let them kill you. No,
I like Kirill Kaprizov too.
Yeah, Kirill Kaprizov. That's the Whale's favorite NHL player. Unless there's like a Justin Beluga somewhere or something like that. It's a really great season. It's a great cap to a fantastic season in the PHF. Obviously, I didn't really pay a lot of attention early on. I knew they existed, but only vaguely, and it also wasn't on easily accessible TV, and I was poor. So, but you know, now that Evan and I are doing this podcast, and we can really dive in and appreciate the PHF and the women's game in general a lot more. This was a great season.
Yeah,
Toronto and Connecticut had masterclass seasons. It just turns out the Pride were better.
And that's one of the things you get from one and done playoff series. Were the Pride the best team in 7-game series? It would be a little bit easier to say that they were, the best team right now. But obviously they came prepared and won the tournament to end the season, and yeah, hats off to them.
Yeah, and there has been talk about expanding the playoffs next year to like a 3-game series or whatever.
I'd like to see that.
I would at least the finals. I think that would be great. But it's sorry, like
you got the sense from the games that Boston could probably win a series too.
For sure. Yeah. Once they fully integrated Callie Flanagan into those teams, like you're bringing a gold medal World Cup winning player and who is just an absolutely dynamic skater to a team full of just completely dynamic skaters, and putting her on the back line and just letting her do her thing. I know that Taylor Wenskowski won the MVP, but it really could have gone to a number of folks. Not to say that Taylor is undeserving. She had a great playoff, but Katie Burt was phenomenal. Callie Flanagan was phenomenal. It just so happened she scored the game-winning goal, but she had also scored the game-winning goal in the Isobel Cup final last year as well. So she has a knack, one would say.
Her and Marie-Philip Poulin need to like hang out.
They might already. I don't know.
Just
if they don't, they should.
Them and like Justin Williams, just people known for being clutch in hockey. Yeah, we're just the clutch club.
Yeah. Were you invited? No, you weren't. It turns out. It's a bummer that the season's over and we have to wait until next fall to get more of the PHF. The PWHPA will for sure be having some events over the coming months, so we'll keep you abreast of those as they come out. And
the PWHPA and PHF have been in talks, apparently, maybe mediated by the NHL, at least broaching the subject of a unified professional women's hockey league. It doesn't sound like it's going to happen right now, but even that they're just sitting in a room and talking about it is music to my ears.
Yeah, I mean, any sort of movement on that front, and we're not in any one corner. We're not saying they should join forces. We're not saying they should be two separate leagues. We just want women's hockey to be more visible and more universally lauded for the wonderful game that it is. However they go about that is fine with us. We're still going to cover it, but it would be cool to see some movement on that front either way.
Or, the process of combining two leagues is, no matter what, going to be hard and fraught with storylines and hard feelings. So, there will be interest and intrigue no matter which way it goes. But two leagues is interesting. One league, I think a lot of people, myself included, are rooting for. But it just seems like it would be the most marketable and visible that way. But and you can get all of your favorite players all in one place.
And one streaming service, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have a dog in that fight. Whatever's best for the game. But hopefully it's visible, it's high quality, and we see a really great product on the ice.
Speaking of product on the ice, we are in the midst of a scoring frenzy right now. The stat heads have weighed in, and we are seeing NHL scoring the highest since the 95-96 season. I don't have the number in front of me of what that is.
Well, it helps that every time Detroit gets on the ice, they give up almost double-digit goals.
Yeah, they have had a pretty insane streak of that, really helping that scoring race just by themselves.
They have so far this season in a game given up 0 goals, 1 goal, 2 goals, 3 goals, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 goals.
11 being the record for a single game in a Cap era.
Yeah, they're terrible. They're also still really intriguing and fun to watch in a lot of ways.
It's crazy hockey because they can score goals.
They put up 4 against New York last night, losing in overtime because they gave up 5. I think we have finally mercifully seen the end of the Jeff Blashill era in Detroit.
Yeah, he's going to be gone.
If he's not, you got to start thinking like he might be the one person who has dirt on Steve Yzerman. Did they share a hotel room in Boca Raton at one point? I don't know what this guy's got going for him because he's the second longest tenured coach in the NHL. I understand keeping him around through this rebuilding process because what's the point of
fire him then?
Well, At a certain point, the rebuild goes as far as it can, right?
Right. Yeah.
And-
that's how it works. That you get the transition coach, and then you get your actual like real coach.
Nothing against him. I think he's an NHL caliber coach. I just think it feels. It just feels like there needs to be like this painful separation at this point. Speaking of separation.
Yeah. Two Ahos separated in time, distance, but apparently connected by Aho gravity, managed to score at almost the exact same time. While 500 miles apart, both Sebastian Ahos in the league, one for the Islanders and the other for the Hurricanes, scored 34 seconds apart. What the hell? Is this a sign of the apocalypse?
Sebastian Aho scoring isn't that far out of the realm of possibilities, but Sebastian Aho scoring is kind of like that doesn't happen that often. So for Sebastian Aho to score within 34 seconds of Sebastian Aho is like, honestly, it's kind of a magical moment in the NHL. I'm surprised they're not celebrating Sebastian Aho for being able to score right around the same time as Sebastian Aho. Like that's really cool.
The Sebastian Aho for Carolina is an established star. The Sebastian Aho for the Islanders is a relatively new NHL player. So, yeah, this is just proof that gravity equals love, as asserted in Interstellar, and that the world is ending.
Well, I mean, we all know that. That's true. I'm just waiting for the volcanoes, man.
Sticking on scoring, Matthews scored his 50th goal of the season, becoming only the fourth player in Toronto Maple Leafs history to do it. Hats off to him. He's maybe the deadliest hockey player in the game right now. So, he's super fun to watch.
Are we saying that he is the apex predator of the NHL then?
Perhaps. If he's not scoring, he's cross-checking you in the back of the head in front of the net and getting suspended for it.
So he's the great white shark of the...
We're going to need a bigger boat.
We're going... You know what that tattoo says? The SS first round playoff loss.
Ooh. Oof. 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 Yeah, he's got a boat, Jonathan Huberdeau, and he's
got a boatload of assists.
Yeah, rode his boat to 71 assists this year. Holy mackerel.
So far. Holy mackerel, you pulling that from the Mickey Redmond
I was just
songbook?
going with a sea theme. And then, Connor McDavid yawned himself to 100 points.
Yeah, nobody's talking about Connor McDavid this year, and he's just like, oh yeah, I'm still the best player in the world. And we're like,
right.
Yeah, we know. Cool. Yeah. Hey, cool, bud.
Connor McDavid's gonna fucking quit and play baseball. This is it's getting bad. I feel like.
What's the Edmonton equivalent of the Birmingham Barons?
Yeah.
Speaking of 100, hitting the century mark, Colorado was the first team to hit 100 points in the NHL this year. We've got some other teams that are close. I think heading in today, the Panthers were at 98, and I think the Hurricanes were at 98 as well. They're the only team even remotely close in the West. And two, they're the first to get there. So congrats to them. That's pretty cool. They're one hell of a team, and they're not even remotely healthy right now. So good for them.
Yeah, as we round into playoff time, there are some teams that have not done some much winning this year and have been eliminated from playoff contention. The Coyotes have been eliminated, I think, for a little while now, but they were...
Montreal has been eliminated for a while.
Montreal also, but the Devils, Flyers, and Kraken were added to the lists of teams with gravestones.
I think anybody in the East who isn't in right now is out. I know it's mathematically possible, but the Islanders are 15 points behind the Caps right now for between 8th and 9th, and there's 16 games to go.
It's not happening.
It's over. That's cute.
They're trying.
But
the Islanders have put together, a couple games in a row of wins, but
yeah, they're 6-3-1 in their last 10,
right. But that team is not good enough to recover from a 13-game road trip to start the year.
The tailspin that was their first 2 months.
Yeah, it's kind of just a lost season for them. It pains me to say it, but you got to regroup and start training for next year at this point almost.
Go sign some puck-moving defensemen while you're at it.
Yeah, that's the other thing is they didn't really recover from the Devon Toews trade. Like, yes, they were cap-strapped.
Or Nick Leddy.
That too. And I think Nick Leddy kind of showed you that he's worth at least 1 goal against per game. And
as we kind of near the very end of the season, things are going to start to shake out in the NHL. The West is still totally up for grabs playoff wise. Like Colorado's in, we know that. Outside of that, Calgary
probably
question mark. Yeah, it's gonna be
any number of a combination of teams.
Yeah, Minnesota's probably in, but after that, like, so St. Louis is the 4th place team in the West right now. They have 83 points. The Stars are the first team out right now, and they have 77.
Right.
So, and the Stars have games in hand over everybody. So, like, it's gonna be fun. I'm excited. We're on the West Coast, so we get to watch some of these games at appreciable times. If you're an East Coast sports fan, you're doing it wrong. West Coast sports fandom is where it's at.
But the eliminated teams got eliminated knowing, luckily for their GMs, that the salary cap will be going up next year by $1 million.
It's a joke we have to make because we are of that age.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a pinky to my mouth. You didn't see that, obviously.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that movie came out when we were, gosh, I'm older than you. I was probably like 13 maybe when it came out.
Austin Powers, at least like the first one, just had a disordinate effect on my sense of humor growing up. And it's kind of funny that the movie holds up pretty well because it's mostly kind of mocking spy movies and mocking the other movies that mocked spy movies. That Austin Powers 1 rocks is a hill that I'll die on.
I was right. It was 13 when I was 13 when it came out.
Which is like,
it was 13 when I came out. That would be,
that would be weird.
Yeah. Or if I was 13 when I came out, that just has a whole lot of double entendres there.
Yeah. I wonder if maybe,
like, I was a grown teenager inside my mother being like, I'm ready to be born.
I'm ready to watch Austin Powers.
And she's like, no. And I was like, please let me go. I don't know if I'm going to edit that or not. We'll see.
Sticking with evil.
Taylor Hall, you bad man.
Yeah. He did more or less exactly what Austin Matthews did the other week and got away with it.
I'm going to disagree with that. I think he did.
That's just, more or less is doing a lot of work there. But
I think he did exactly what Dylan Larkin did game 1 to Matthew Joseph.
Yeah, and got suspended.
And got suspended for a game for it. And maybe even worse of a sucker punch because at least you could make the assumption that Matthew Joseph should have seen it coming because he was at least facing it. Mm-hmm. Taylor Hall was just like, nah, I'm going to punch you in the back of the head.
Bless your heart.
Bless your heart, boy. I'm going to punch you in the back of the head. I don't know why the Southern accent came out there, but I kind of like it.
I think it fits somehow. So Taylor Hall was fined $5,000 for punching Ilya Lyubushkin in the back of the head because the Department of Player Unsafety makes no fucking sense.
At all.
It's just spin the wheel of the player safety. And it landed on the maximum fine of a player, which is hilariously
$5,000.
Or 1 used Toyota.
Or like a bad day in Jeopardy.
Yeah.
Like, you got 6 questions right. Congrats.
Better a bad day in Jeopardy than a bad day at the Oscars, huh?
Depends on who you're asking. If you're asking the viewing public, I think we disagree with you. If you're asking Chris Rock's face, he's probably upset about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Rumor has it that the Department of Player Safety has contacted Will Smith, and he's going to have an in-person interview. They may penalize him for instigation and roughing.
Well, he doesn't have the star power that he used to have, so he's not going to get the Austin Matthews treatment. He's on
Team Scientology.
Is he still? on Team
I don't know.
Scientology?
I think they're like Mormons in that you can't ever leave.
Oh,
it's like Hotel California.
No, if you run out of money, you get kicked out.
yeah. Then your e-meter goes to
like
zero.
the Mormons.
Your e-meter goes to zero.
Yeah, and you walk around flaccid. I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's stupid. We'll just call it like it is. Scientology is a fucking cult. Fuck that place.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. If you're a part of it, sorry. Not sorry.
You can just come over one cult to the hockey cult. It's much funner here.
Yeah, and you can put knives on your feet.
And so Will Smith, he completed the Gordie Howe hat trick. He got one fight, one win, one nomination.
I don't really want to talk about the Oscars that much because I don't give a shit, but this was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, like, for one night, the Oscars was an AHL game. In that you were mostly bored by the product, but then there was a fight.
Did they bring out teachers at intermission and make them fight for money on the ice?
Yeah, that was a thing, and that I'm glad you brought that up because that was ridiculous. But it might as well have been dollar beer night, dollar dog night at the Rockford Metro Center. Like, but thank goodness, Chris Rock not actually hurt. Unfortunately, Clayton Keller was seriously injured and is going to be out for the year after awkwardly crashing into the boards immediately after a shot attempt. And reportedly, Phil Kessel went straight to the medical area to check on him and give him some support instead of going to the locker room. And this just reiterates why we fucking love Phil Kessel. I mean, maybe he's kind of practicing for his new dad life. But yeah,
he's a human who feels things.
Yeah.
That's nice to see. Like,
I mean, he maybe went in and said to Clayton Keller, put some leaves on it. But
here's a hot dog. And he pulled it out of his pocket.
I have an insulated hot dog. Pocket in my hockey pads. I would not put that past Phil Kessel.
A buddy of mine and I at work have like this long-standing bet where if one of us pulls the pocket dog trick at a meeting, the other like owes him beers for like a month or something like that. Pocket dogs being made famous by Rafi in the league, if you're not familiar.
I'm not, actually.
Just YouTube some pocket dogs. It's pretty outstanding.
I mean, can we get a supercut of like him and the pocket tots from Napoleon Dynamite?
Yes, Lord, we can get a supercut.
Yeah, just get a full like pocket Happy Meal, tots and a dog.
I think anytime I pull food out of my pocket, I'm pretty happy about it.
So back to Phil Kessel and Clayton Keller. Clayton Keller, until this point, had not missed a game for 357 straight games and sits somehow at number 4 on the Ironman streak.
Sat.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Until he fell like that one egg. I don't know.
Humpty Dumpty.
Yeah, until he fell like Humpty Dumpty from the list at number 4. Phil Kessel, famously at number 2, and hopefully at number 1, shortly after Keith Yandel gets healthy scratched here in a minute.
He's number 1 in our hearts.
Yeah, Phil Kessel is I think he's going to win it straight away. I don't think Keith Yandel can keep this up for very long, and I think that Phil Kessel...
Cialis commercial?
I mean... That might be applicable to Keith Yandel at this point.
I might be older than Keith Yandel,
his game is a little flaccid.
Yeah,
and
his game,
his shots kind of dip. So yeah, this sucks that Clayton Keller had his leg break to end his number 4 Ironman position, but
if you're gonna lose some games though, at least it's a big injury and not like a broken pinky or some shit.
Yeah, and sounds like he's gonna miss most of the off season. Sounds like his timeline for recovery after surgery is 4 to 6 months. He says he's gonna be back for camp, but that's what they all say at this point.
It's a nasty break if it's 4 to 6 months.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a nasty
bad.
break if it requires surgery.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I saw it and it reminds me of the board collision that I tore my ACL on. So I was like unhappy watching it. It was just, he just goes in real fast and kind of gets discombobulated on a shot attempt and then can't really brace himself very well.
Yeah,
And there wasn't any sort of nefarious things to it. It was just one of those unfortunate hockey plays, and we wish him the best and a speedy recovery and a happy experience in physical therapy.
Yeah. Speaking of physical therapy, we're out of here. It's like 9:15 at night. We're not going to physical therapy. I just fucking botched that transition. But you know what? We're going to live with it.
We're expected back next week to continue our Iron Man streak of 60 episodes.
And if you've been here for all of them, well, you're one of us, actually. So congrats, Evan. We're about to be geriatric. My beard is already there, but otherwise, so is the podcast.
My hairline is getting there.
Yeah. So, wow, we just got depressed. All right.
I mean, that's a symptom, man.
Time to go get some.
I'm going to rub some testosterone.
Right on your dick.
Yeah, right. I thought it goes in your armpit.
It goes on your arm in general. I think there's also a league bit where he rubs it on his junk. And yeah.
Oh, I see. Your references, man, are just.
Oh man, you just got to watch the league.
I've seen like a handful of episodes, but I don't know the inside jokes.
One of my favorite shows of all time. Anyways, you can find us on the internets at handsomehockey.com. All of our episodes are posted there. So if you're looking for a place and you don't have a smartphone or like listen to music somewhere or whatever, find us there. On Instagram, Handsome Hockey Podcast, at Handsome Hockey on Twitter, or handsomehockeypod@gmail.com if you want to email us like a good millennial. And finally, we have a Facebook page. It's just Handsome Hockey. Handsome Hacky. I went full Midwest right there. With that,
do you even know?
Thanks for listening, everybody. We will see you soon. Take care and stay handsome, everyone.
Restez beau, tout le monde.